Whitetail Madness. By its very definition, it describes each and every one of us on the Drury Outdoors team. It's January. The season is ending, or should I say, just beginning. As that buck hit the ground in western Mississippi at Terra Wildlife, it marked a new chapter for Terry and I with Catch a Dream and with Michael Woody. What a life-changing experience for both of us. Just when we thought the season was ending on a high note, in reality, the next season was just getting started.
Well, February is here. You know, the seasons have ended for the most part throughout the country. We get word from Al Shacklett, who has a special permit down south.
Born and raised in Central Texas, also known as the Texas Hill Country. I grew up around a family ranch, and anyone who's been in the hill country around deer hunting can tell you real quick that the deer, for the most part, aren't near the size as they are in South Texas. You know, as far as hunting goes, my favorite #1 pick is the hill country. However, late season, there's not another place I'd rather be than just South Texas in general.
For 05-06, we've had a great season. Started off October 1st with a nosebleed stud.
Sure enough, the nosebleed stud, this mainframe 10 was one of the larger deer hanging out in this area.
And ended up in mid-late December with Porky. Unbelievable day here in December and in the Texas Hill Country.
You know, whether it's a doe or a buck, to me it's irrelevant. When it comes to bow hunting, you know, my heart's out of control. I lose my composure way too easy. And it's a great feeling, don't get me wrong, but to make sure when it comes down to the moment of truth, when it comes to the heat of the moment, that second, you know, there's nothing that I did not do previously that's gonna get between me and taking that animal ethically. And I'm flinging as many sticks as I can. Before we go out in the mornings or in the afternoons, I'm making sure that all my kinks are worked out and I'm doing everything I can. And you know, it's a long trip down to let something come between me and, you know, and something bad happening on an animal.
This is a nice float that you got decorated here.
Huh?
Nice parade float.
What's that?
Parade.
We're trying to get our game face on a little pepped up for this evening's hunt. We're after the notorious, or should I say elusive, what is he, 6x4? Mm-hmm. Big buck. We came down here looking for mature bucks, and this was on the hit list because he's definitely mature and he's definitely big. Our first attempt was tripods. Short tripods, but definitely somewhat off the ground a little bit. You know, we were cutting brush and stacking it all around, trying to make our backdrop as brushy as possible, and to us it looked great. You know, before we knew it, we were all settled in. A couple of young bucks, maybe a doe, moving through, and it seemed like we didn't have about a half hour of daylight. And here we go. At about 80, 85 yards out, we had this big, broke up 11 point. You know, trying to film through that brush probably wasn't the easiest, but Ty, I could hear him, you know, softly saying, here he is, the big 6x4. He showed himself. It's daylight hours, probably had at least a half hour of daylight left, and he was out moving.
He sure enough popped his head out chasing a doe, and he stayed, you know, 75 yards from us the whole time. We never could could close the distance, and I think we got a little bit cocky at that point. You know, the first time we had gone to hunt them, sure enough, we see them, which nobody had ever done before, at least while they were trying to harvest them. And the next 20 hunts later, we never saw them again. I have the privilege to fly and survey a lot of deer country here in South Texas, and I knew right off the bat that it was going to be a pretty tough year. Back 4 or 5 years ago, we had pretty low fawn crops. So basically, you know, 5 years from then, which is about right now, we're going to not have near as many mature deer in the next this year and then the following season. So I knew beforehand going into it this season it was going to be rough.
South Texas was brutal to us this year. I think the main reason was because we were hunting one particular deer all season down here south, and it wore on us. It wore on me big time, because here we are down south where there's just a ton of deer, ton of beautiful bucks, and you know, here we were chasing this one deer, and this deer, he was smart. You know, he was a 6+ year old deer, and he's had hunting pressure on him in the past. You know, what definitely wasn't his first rodeo, so we knew we had a challenge in front of us.
Fortunately, with the wildlife eye and the fact that a couple of ranch employees wanted to get a good look at him, they got some cool footage of him from a distance. And so we knew he was there, and then our wildlife eye footage confirmed that he was there during the time that Al and I were going to try to chase him. Back at camp, there was a couple people that made it known that we were stupid for trying to go out and try to chase this deer around, because at least 4 other guys had chased him around with guns and not even seen him. So here we were out to do what they said, you know, couldn't be done.
You know, Texas is pretty far advanced when it comes to wildlife management, and they have to be. 97% of the state is privately owned, so most of the management and wildlife actually occur on private property. As a result, the Texas Parks and Wildlife Department has a program called the Managed Lands Deer Permit Program. It's a voluntary program that landowners enroll into, and it gives them a lot more flexible seasons. In other words, we can start hunting around October 1st and end up in February, and you have much more liberal bag limits. Each ranch, the harvest rate is set for that particular property, and that's based on the landowner turning in helicopter surveys for South Texas. Not only survey data is turned in, but also harvest data. You're required to weigh, score, age all the deer, and that enables the biologist that's working with the ranch to make much more informed and better management decisions about the property, and also, for the most part, improve the quality of the whitetail deer herd, which is what the objective of most landowners is.
I was definitely issued several hall passes this season. Thankfully, because this nocturnal 6x4 that we're hunting all season, he gave us the runaround, and we came down here many times down south to hunt him. Here we are towards the backside of this 120 some odd thousand acres. You know, this is pretty much it. This is towards the very latter part of the season, and we're coming in here. We've tried the tripods, we tried to, you know, pop up ground blinds, and finally we've created this little brush blind. We're going to be coming in here this evening. It's going to be an evening hunt. We've got a south wind. It's hot. It's late season, and it's hot, if you can believe that. So, you know, with our persistence, our determination, our drive, hopefully, you know, it'll all pay off. So we're headed in here, evening hunt, the last evening we're hunting this year. We got on this deer one other time about, 3 weeks ago, and he got the heart pumping. So if he walks by us, I will definitely have buck fever. And when I go to full draw, I will have fingers crossed, because there's no telling what's going to happen.
Let's just say the hunt was pretty slow. Other than a couple little encounters with some blue quail and a cardinal eating some berries, it was slow. An hour and a half, 2 hours into the hunt, we finally saw one little yearling buck come cruising down the brush line. He wanders out over in front of us, and now we were still unsure as to the quality of our blind. And he was out probably 20, 30 yards, and Al was starting to make some movement, and I was telling him, you know, be still, be still. And then the next thing I hear, he said, it's him, it's him.
Oh my God. What are South Texas, baby! Woo-hoo! South Texas late season. God, what? Oh my Lord. What did we just do? I don't know if my eyes were open or what when I pulled that trigger, but you know, it was the best feeling. I can't express the emotion. I'm lost for words, the emotion that was going through me when I saw those fletchings disappear behind his shoulder.
After a high five and a little ditty of what Shaq's little 6x4 dance, you know, we were tracking that deer.
My chin hit my kneecaps. We came around some hair, and there he was, out for the count. 6 points on one side, 4 on the other, and he was on the ground. Ty and I are down here late season, South Texas, Duval County Ranch. And here's the deer I'm holding right now, and I can't be more happy with that we have been persistently hunting for I don't know how long now. It feels like the entire season down here south, and I wanted to give up on this deer after just maybe 9 days of straight hunting total. But thanks to my friend and cameraman, he dragged me back over to this hilltop when I was kicking and crying the whole way because I did not want to come back. I really believe this deer late season was nocturnal and that we were just wasting our time. You know, everything came together, including luck, and it was just our time to make something happen this year. And I mean, as you can see, it was just a world-class deer for any bow hunter. It was definitely a high of my season this year, and one of the highs that I've had around hunting, just because here I am in South Texas on a buck of a lifetime, sharing it with a good friend, and everything just couldn't have worked out any better.
March just happens to be the time of the year when everything else has ended. There's really not a lot of hunting going on. You're still thinking about it a great deal, and all of a sudden the anxiety is very high, where you know you're going to walk through the timber and try and find that big shed antler.
Shed antlers are a piece to the puzzle. They help define where that buck's home court area is, but they're so hard to find. We always call it the needle in the haystack. It's a numbers game. The more people you have looking, the better chances you have at finding that all-important shed antler. April's about turkey season, and depending on where you're sitting at right now, it may indeed be about food plots. For us, it was time to do a controlled burn. It was time to take some of that switchgrass that had been there for several years, burn it to the ground, and generate new growth. First, we went out and obtained a burn permit with the NRCS. They came down, told us how to burn it, what the wind speed should be, and the wind direction. We back burned it first, then went to the other side and let it go, and baby, did it ever go. That thing went up in a ball of fire. It literally took about 5 minutes and the entire thing was over. 40 acres of native warm season grasses gone literally in the blink of an eye. It was gone. Now the regrowth restarts by this fall. That stuff's going to be 6 foot taller and much more healthy, much more full. Once turkey season's complete, we flow right into planting season. May is the time we're trying to get those crops in the ground.
We're still thinking about that food plot architecture that we talk about so often. The corn is usually planted by then. We've got to get beans, we've got to have clover plus, we've got to have several of those other crops that you know you're going to depend on in the fall.
It's been an incredible night. I had 7, 8 bucks running around out there. Today I decided to come down and try to get this bachelor group. I have the velvet buck that froze off half his antler, all of one side and half of the other, and I wanted to get some footage of him. What a night. He came right in. Holy smokes. That's the buck I want to get this year. What a night I had tonight. Holy mackerel.
June has arrived. The months are getting a little bit longer, a little bit hotter. We're hoping that the food plots will come to fruition and we're going to start seeing some growth. We need rains all of a sudden, and June is the month when you start finally seeing a little bit of antler development.
There's a few bucks that are starting to show what they're going to look like on the Wildlife Eye. By the time July hits, it's hot, it's summer. Man, the season, is it ever going to get here? But those bucks are starting to really show what they look like.
You're starting to see certain deer that you recognize. They're in velvet, they're still developing. It's the month when those antlers are growing at a rapid, rapid pace.
July is a great time, particularly in the latter part of the month, to get your cameras out, your Wildlife Eyes out, and see who's stomping around your hunting ground. August, the dog days of summer, but the season is only a month away. August is awesome because those bucks are finished with their antlers. The Wildlife Eye starts to show exactly who's around and what they look like for this coming year.
We are identifying a lot of them in velvet. We have high hopes for a bunch of big ones.
We say our videos are different. One of the things that makes us different is, for the most part, we do our own thing. We hunt with a few outfitters, yes, but by and large, most of these trees are ours, and this is the time of the year to get things ready and get things started for the season. There's guys all over the country putting out food plots, putting stands up, scouting that next hot spot, looking for velvet bucks, putting their cameras out. The Drury Outdoors team is busy during the off season. It's what puts them in the right place come September, October, and of course, November.
We heard from Jason Irish, who is hanging a stand in the intense heat. We'll see if it works out for him later on in the season.
Well, you're physically challenged. You're going to hang tree stands. 100 degrees out, idiots, aren't we? You know, last weekend of July, I got on the phone and Eric had to work, and I started calling around some of the other Drury Outdoors guys, and I got a hold of old Rodney Owens, and he decided he'd come down here with me and hang tree stands.
Oh, here we go again. Some of the things I do for my friends to kill deer. 102 degrees out, August the 5th. Can't even get the outfitter to hang this set.
You ain't no dummy, are you, David?
But I'm gonna hang this, and Jason, I want to say he's going to kill at least a 160 out here on the September the 10th. Because I know the other set we hung this morning, he's going to hunt it the first day.
You know, me and David, Preston, Rodney, we had a lot of fun out there scouting the properties, and we found a couple of real good spots. If you're wondering how we accomplish this, this is something you don't ever want to try at home. We are professionals. We do cobble stuff together once in a while. We cobbled ourselves up some oak branches here to sturdy her up. We'll get ourselves a little safety belt on when we come back hunting. Should be fine. But talk about a sweet spot. You can shoot 3 different directions, as far as your range will allow you. Beautiful spot, David Shoddy. Let's go look at the next one.
September, the season's here, and we can't wait to get it started.
Well, it's the first big trip of the year, and I'm taking Corinne and baby Lillian to stay for the weekend with their grandma and grandpa while I go to deer hunting. So, sitting here waiting at daycare, impatient as she's been in there for 10 minutes to get the kid. She likes to yap, 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 but I'm ready to go deer hunting.
She's sleeping. Lelena's sleeping.
Everybody told me once you became a dad, it was going to be a little harder to leave. No, send it your life.
Daddy's going bye-bye. Bye-bye, Daddy. We love you.
You guys have fun.
Bring us home a buck.
Yeah. Bye-bye. It kind of was. It was kind of a sad feeling pulling out of the driveway and leaving the girls behind, but, we had to get down there to Kansas and do our job, too. It was time to go hunting. Here we are once again headed to Kansas. This is gonna be our 5th year down here at Blue River Whitetails. We're running a pretty good success rate down here. This is actually the 4th year I'll be down in Kansas muzzleloader hunting, the 5th year overall, and every year we're on good deer, and I got high expectations of killing a good buck this year. We'll go in here and see what the good word is, because they got some big bucks signed up. Look at them eating, didn't even stay and wait for us. What happens when you're late? You don't get to eat. One of the first things we do every year when we get down here to Kansas is we head right on out and we shoot our guns. First 2 times I shot American Pioneer powder and I shot low. So I went back to what I was shooting last year, which was 777 pellets. One right here in the bullseye, and this one here maybe jerked a little bit, but dead center. Either way, all 4 shots were to kill them. As far as one away is 2 inches from being a bullseye. Mosquitoes are eating me alive. Let's get out of here. 4 o'clock, 68 degrees down here in Kansas. We've been setting and washing the weather all day. And finally, the rain has moved out of our way for at least a good 3 or 4 hours, so we're hoping we get a nice hunt in. First night of the muzzleloader season here in 2006, and we're excited about getting back to the tree stand. Me and Rodney actually was with me. Eric couldn't come down, but we came down about a month and a half ago. We hung the set we're going tonight. It's my second spot. My number one spot, the wind's wrong, so we're gonna wait tomorrow without chancing it. So had to set back and see it happen. This is a good spot too.
Got a nice green bean field behind us. We're just gonna sit back and see what happens. Mosquitoes are already eating us alive.
You know, that first night out in the stand, it was kind of a bust. With that low pressure system was in, the deer just weren't moving, and you know, we had high expectations going out that night, and we never even seen deer one. You know, it's the second afternoon, we're gonna hop in that pickup and we're off that tree stand.
All right, here it is, Sunday. It's a little cloudy out, but it's supposed to clear up, and the farm we're headed to, Old Harold's, is gonna be awesome. I knew it would be because it's one of the best buck farms David's got. I love that farm, and I was pumped up to get in the stand.
5 o'clock. We already got a buck, so we know tonight's gonna be better than last night already. We've got about 2 or 3 really super nice bucks on cam tracker down here. David got some good pictures of them. Should see a lot of deer, so let's kick back, see what happens. There, there's a big buck coming right there, big buck.
You know, the first thing I thought of when I seen that buck at the fence getting ready to jump, it was, you know, I was trying to go through my head, how old is he? You know, is he big enough?
Another buck coming right here.
There's another buck there, probably, I'd hate to say how old the deer is. He's starting to go back downhill. He has a real big drop tine on him, but just not what we were after. And
he ain't got much of a rack on him. This big buck comes in close enough, gets a shower. Big buck down in Kansas. Second night. That's really getting better. That's a good buck too. He is down for the count. Dandy too. This whole Omega did the trick again. I mean, I never thought in a million years I was gonna get a 50-yard shot. What a good buck. It's gonna feel good to get home to Minnesota with something to back the pickup. Let's cross our fingers and hope there ain't no ground shrinkage. Look at the size of that G4.
you know, I'm always excited when I get that early season muzzleloader tag for down here in Kansas. This was gonna be our 4th year down here muzzleloader hunting, our 5th year overall. And you know, one thing about when we come down to Blue River Whitetails, we know David's gonna have some good bucks out there, and this year was no different. Actually, about a month and a half ago, me and Rodney Owens came down here with David and went out and scouted the properties. We hung some tree stands, and David had a trail camera up on the farm where we hung the stand. We had a picture of this deer right here, and you know, I took a look at him and I knew that he was one of the deer I'd like to get a shot at. And sure enough, had this buck and another pretty decent buck come out and fed in front of us for the better part of 10 or 15 minutes. And you know, after I watched this deer for a while, I knew that he was gonna be the one riding home to Minnesota with me. And you know, I couldn't be any happier. What a nice buck. And you know, it's just a testament of the deer they got down here. Every year we're on good deer down here at Blue River Whitetails, and this year was no different.
There's something you don't see every day. I'm driving down the road and I look over and here's these two guys with this sign that says, "Are you Terry?" I'm getting ready to go meet old brother Terry though. We're gonna get after those Iowa bucks. October the 9th. Man, this cold front has hit again. Last week I got lucky, killed one. Tonight he's up to bat. I'm gonna be filming. We're going right back to the well, same spot we were in last week. Hopefully that biologic can produce another buck.
Well,
It's almost 20 till 4. Terry was supposed to be here at 3:15. He's running a little late.
Well, here it is, October the 9th. And there's nothing I look forward more than to going up to Iowa on Mark's farm and trying to harvest one of those big Iowa giants.
Shake and bake. I'm ready. Look at this truck. It's my office. Look at this. I just threw everything in and ran.
Threw it in and ran.
Got any Grecian formula in it? That hair mysteriously gonna turn black?
Hope it works. Since I haven't showered since the Cardinal ball game last night. Just so happened it was fairly mild, the temperature was perfect. We were gonna be hunting over a green, lush biologic field.
Well, you know, on October the 4th, Mark slipped in here and he knew this spot would be good. The biologic is real green, it's real lush. So he sat it on a northeast wind and the conditions were very, very similar. Temperatures were dropping, cool breeze. And when you got those conditions, you've got to take advantage of it. And we feel as though pretty strongly that we may see a buck again tonight, a shooter. Who knows? There were a lot of deer on the field that evening. And we may have as good a luck as they did on the 4th. Here it is, the 9th, we'll see.
You know, something I haven't done is harvested a big giant out of a Maristep ground blind, but I was really looking forward to this opportunity.
Well, right on cue. We've got a doe. We've got a doe that just fed into the biologic. It's 10 minutes to 5, so we'll see. That's a good sign. They're moving, you know, about when they should, when they normally would. The biologic is beautiful. It's real lush and green. Gorgeous.
Well, we got all set up. The evening was progressing. We saw a few does, saw small bucks. It looked like it was going to turn out to be the perfect evening. Well, it started to get later and later and later. It's not unusual early season like that for a big one to come out a little bit late. As luck would have it, we had one big giant 150-inch 8-point come onto the field, and it was just too late. We had to let him walk off.
He's a giant.
All in all, it was a great evening. I didn't mind. We let him walk off. It was a beautiful buck. I would love to have harvested that particular deer. We were hoping that someone would have an opportunity maybe later on in the season. He looked awfully comfortable in that particular food plot. But boy, it's a sad day when you got to let a deer like that walk by.
Super, super buck. Just a tremendous 8-point. Probably 150 to 155-inch 8. Really nice. He's giant. He might be 160, I don't know. But he's definitely mature. And there's just not enough light, you know, so you never know when we may get another opportunity at him. Really, really good buck. If he'd have been 10 minutes sooner.
Well, time quickly slipping by. Here it is, October the 10th. You know, it's mild temperatures, 50 degrees. We had a fantastic evening yesterday, the 9th. Got to see that big 150-inch deer at point blank range. Just a little bit too dark for the shot, but we're looking forward to today.
Where's your camouflage?
I thought you'd never ask.
Oh, delicious. I'm taking a little up.
You're taking them with you?
Oh yeah, throw them in the truck. 2 deer we passed last year.
You passed both of them, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
This guy here could walk in tonight. He's the guy we got all the wildlife eye of.
This was the buck I was after it. I vividly remember saying, I just want to get a crack at that deer next year.
Velvet footage, just right there where you're going.
He's got 2 forks.
Two forks.
Fork on the
He's
G2
just
and a fork on the
giant.
G3.
And these are still a little curly cute. I mean, he is a beautiful, beautiful deer. So hopefully he'll come out for you.
All
Good
right.
luck.
Same to you. You guys kill something this evening.
We'll try.
See ya.
Bye.
There's a huge, huge cold front that's being ushered in right now. They're calling it some kind of
polar burst or polar blast that's coming down from the northwest. Although we've got a northeast wind this evening, and I'm going to one of my favorite spots. I'm going to a tree where I killed my 178 a couple years ago, and it requires a northeast wind, so the wind is perfect this evening. We're gonna try and get in there early. That afternoon, we were kind of rushing to get there and barely made it up into the tree and killed the deer literally a little bit after 4 in the evening, 4 in the afternoon. But that was first week in November, so totally different time of the year. But we'll see, you never know. Because of the weather situation, they may move pretty good tonight, and they may move early, I don't know. They may not move at all, who knows, you never know. It's all part of it. The rain started to develop. You know, what started out as a mist and a light rain now became a pelting rain. It started to come down a little bit harder and a little bit harder. All of a sudden, everything that I owned was soaked.
Terry's gonna be in for a wet evening. I'm lucky enough to draw the Ameristep ground blind, so I'll have a roof over my head. I can't wait to get in there and watch that Biologic Maximum field. I had good luck there once already this year. Terry and I went there last night, saw a pounder of an 8-point, and we're going back in tonight.
He was taking the comfy, cushy position. I was gonna take the gritty, rainy, nasty position. We were gonna see who was gonna come out on top this particular day.
Tonight, when Terry said he wanted to go to where he killed his 178, and I had looked at the forecast, I said, okay, I'll take the ground blind. They're getting soaked, and we're sitting in here in the catbird seat right here on this biologic field. No rain's hitting us whatsoever. We're as dry as we can be. Thanks, Terry. This rain has everything going crazy. We've been sitting here getting colder and colder. We're in the dry, but it's still damp out. I can't imagine how wet Terry is right now. I can't even imagine it. Hopefully he's seeing deer. That's keeping him a little bit warm, because he's got to be cold and wet and miserable. Amen, Stephen. Soaking wet. Absolute giant. I had just ranged it too. I don't know how in the world I shot over him.
You could have knocked me over with a feather. You know, just it's like taking the wind out of your sails. You wait all year for that opportunity, that shot, and what can you say? You know, it's early in the season. You just hope that you get another chance at a deer like that.
Mark eats ding-dongs. I eat apples. I may be older, but I'm a lot more healthy. He's a little fatter. Apples, ding-dongs, apples it is. Apples are good luck. Good luck.
Look at him, center punched it. Now, see what happens when these are on top. The arrow may not even hit the target.
If I had a bad arrow, I'd shoot the bench.
Even the bench is not safe. It's the antlers. Good luck.
Same thing. Yep.
Becky.
Here we are, mid-October. You know, it's the weather's right, mist in the air, cold front coming through. This is what we live for.
Well, we just actually went in and hung a really good set. It was an area on the middle of my farm that I had always wanted to get in. It was raining, the front's cleared now. Jared and I are heading in town. We're gonna go have some lunch. You know, it's been drizzly. The weather's been, you know, 55, 60, but it's actually dropping now, pretty much. So we're gonna get out and, you know, and see if them big boys are gonna be on their feet.
Now it's time for us to do our thing. The leaves are starting to turn colors. It just smells like fall's in the air. It's an exciting time. It's nothing but the rut in front of us.
That's white lightning. Let's rock. You know, the motto or the slogan in baseball is we live for this. Well, when I get done with baseball and you play 6-7 months of the year, believe me and trust me, I do live for this. And to get out here tonight and get in the woods and see if you can harvest a big giant, hey, that's what it's all about. We're gonna go get them.
Temperatures are dropping. There's a northwest wind, and we're going to be hunting a bean field, which hopefully will, we'll see some deer movement tonight. Because I really think with this front coming in, Jared and I talked, they're definitely going to be up on the feet and probably pretty early. So we're going to get in here and we'll get back to you here in a little bit. Well, we're finally in. It took a while, but hopefully we'll see some deer soon. There's a big deer coming out of the sedan grass. just shot a 160. Oh my God, I'm so pumped. Yeah. First night in this set, it's the front, baby. This front came in, and Jared said they were gonna move, and you know what? I think I just shot the biggest deer with my bow. Blood. Blood on that.
Yep. Blood.
We got blood here. We got a dead deer down, boys. We got a dead deer.
All right.
All right. How about it? I hear you.
Yeah.
That's why we live for this, right here. October hunting, bow hunting, it doesn't get any better, boys. Well, here we are, October 18th. We had a front come in today, and this afternoon, Jared and I went into town. We had some lunch, and the wind shifted. It shifted to the north, to the northwest, and I figured the area we could get in had a really good chance of, if we were going to see a big deer or a deer like this on his feet, that would have been the set. And it was an area that my brother Chuck had hunted a couple times, over the years, and he's seen very nice deer in it. And it's just great. It's great to be able to harvest an animal like this and work so hard. I owe a lot to my brother. He does a lot here when I'm playing baseball, and it's a pleasure. I think now we got to focus on him and my other brother Randy and get them a deer like this, and I don't think we'll have a hard time doing it. Hopefully they can do the same. It all worked out. It all worked out, and it's just a blessing to have an animal like this.
Here it is, October the 19th. We're still in Iowa. We've got temperatures are fairly mild. It's in the low 50s.
We're up there in Iowa, we're chasing deer, we're having the time of our lives. And good old brother Terry, one day, he decides he's gonna go get lunch. I said, man, I'd love a sandwich.
We're here at Arby's. We're gonna try and get our clothing all scented up for this evening. Mark wanted a turkey, a roast turkey ranch bacon thing with no onions. So I ordered one with extra onions, because he does that to me all the time. Pulls those little stunts, those little pranks. So I always say payback is fair game. But I was nice enough to get him what he really wanted too. So we're gonna give him the one with extra onions first, watch him go ballistic, and then we'll give him the other one. Ought to be good.
Better shoot that bow, Terry. One thing I hate is onions. I said, please don't put any onions on it. Hate them.
Roast beef or your whatever.
This deal?
Yeah. Did you want a wrap?
No.
You didn't?
No. I never eat a wrap, but I'll eat it. It don't matter.
It's a turkey ranch and bacon. Didn't you say wrap?
No, turkey ranch and Rick is always a sandwich that looks like that.
I'm sorry.
Don't matter. I probably need to eat a wrap. I don't want the smell. I just don't like onions in general.
We said no
onions. Look.
Whatever. You wrote that on there.
No.
You're trying to make me explode. That's why you did the wrap, so I wouldn't see them in there.
Here's the one you really want. Oh, they must have got them mixed up. This one says extra onions.
Thanks, brother. I really appreciate you taking care of me. That thing smelled like an onion patch. I asked for no onions. No onions.
You better wash your hands.
Woo! They'll never smell us.
Those are strong. You better get some Ziploc.
Better get some hair and body deodorant there. Nonetheless, practical jokes aside, it's time to hit the timber again. Man, friends like that.
Hey, he did that to me once.
Can't count on family, who can count on?
It's a south wind tonight. I'm headed back on doe patrol, and Terry's going into the hammer hole.
Here it is. It's 20 minutes after 3 on Thursday, October the 19th. We're still hunting here at Mark's. We're in Iowa, and we're going to a spot that is really probably one of the best spots on the place for a southerly wind flow. We got a west right now. It's supposed to get a little more southerly as the evening progresses. And I went in there the other evening and I couldn't get across this little creek because it's too high. So Mark had a little flat bottom boat in his backyard. Well, we took the boat and we've put it down there. We made one little test run,
and we're gonna be scooting across in this little flat bottom to get to the other side.
Here's my paddle.
It's a little bit wobbly. We're not too sure of our footing.
Desperate men have desperate measures.
But we're going to do whatever we have to do to get into this particular set. Well, it worked out pretty well. We maneuvered the stream. It wasn't that far across.
The fun part will be going back in the dark.
And we hopped out of the boat and climbed right up into the set. I was somewhat concerned about leaving the boat so close to our position because I didn't know how the deer would receive it.
Well, hopefully if Mr. Big comes in, we won't let him get far enough to see it. There's about maybe a 10-foot elevation change here, so it's down pretty low. You know, I probably should have parked my boat a little further away from my spot.
Well, the evening started to really shape up. You know, the wind stayed pretty consistent. Although it was a little bit muggy, it was in our face, and I knew we had a pretty good evening ahead.
I can't tell if he's 3 or 4. It's pretty nice. He's got long tail lines. We'll let him walk off. I think he's 3 1/2. He got over there to our barge and he couldn't decide whether he wanted to get on or skirt it. I think they both just decided to move on. I'll be shocked if we don't see another shooter.
I was worried about the deer seeing this boat and then maybe spooking or boogering on it because it had never been there before. Well, much to our surprise, we had some deer that walked right by it, never even looked at it, didn't pay any attention to it. Some of the most beautiful footage I've ever seen walking through that stream and never even put their head up, never paid that boat any attention.
How cool was that? The boat didn't bother. He walked right by it. Awesome. That was beautiful. Gorgeous.
Started to see a few does. I saw a 1.5-year-old buck, a couple of 2-year-olds. They were all out there, kind of kicking around a little bit. Some of the bucks nudging the does. It looked like it was going to be the perfect evening.
Things are starting to shape up. If he gets in here close enough, I'm gonna shoot him.
Matt?
He's behind the limb. You want him? No. Steve. Got him. He's behind the leaves. I got his body. Well, that worked out nice. He's a good deer. Boy, what an exciting hunt that was. Man, oh man, we had deer running and moving and grunting and chasing. It was wild, absolutely wild. What an evening, wow. That was awesome.
It all turned out to be the perfect evening. He didn't run maybe 50, 60 yards and fell over.
We got to take We gotta take old Jolly Roger back across the river. Oh, we got good blood already here. Looks like the Rage broadhead did its job and the Tricon did its job. And finally, I did mine for Jim.
Big body deer. Look at the size of that deer.
Now it was a matter of getting back across the stream, trying to get some help, see if we couldn't get the deer out.
We're going back across. We're back in the boat. This old boat didn't bother those deer.
Hey, I forgot to pick up your wildlife eye.
I see.
But I gotta go around there anyway to pick up the deer.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you. What'd you do?
I shot a doe.
Well, good for you. Congratulations.
Do you want me to come over there? Where you at? Well, I'll meet you at Fisher Gate.
Okay, we'll be there in a little bit.
Okay, congrats.
Bye.
Bye. Sweet, Terry killed an Iowa buck. Nice.
Nice deer. By the time we got it out and did the photos and all that goes along with it, it was time to do a little bit of celebrating. Look at that hole, would you? That's the entrance, you know, and some people are critical of mechanical broadheads, but baby, we're convinced that Rage is the ticket. I'm telling you, there's not another broadhead on the market that'll do that kind of damage. Well, happiness is October the 19th, and you couldn't ask for a better archery evening. You know, we had temperatures this evening where the lows are in the 30s and the highs are in the 40s. And high pressure system was finally ushered in. We got rid of all those low pressures and the deer moved like we thought they would. We're sitting over the top of a real lush green biologic patch. Mark and I are sold on maximum, and the deer just filed into that particular patch. Looked like they've been mauling it. You know, there's a lot of stems showing, all the leaves are eaten off, but it's such a drawing card, you just can't say enough about it. Access, I think, again, was the key. We slipped through that switchgrass. We got into our little flat bottom boat. We launched it, made it across the little stream there and hopped up into our set. It was a perfect evening, and I can't say enough about acquiring an archery permit this year as a governor's tag. Those governor permits are very, very hard to come by, and I can't thank Ross Harrison and the entire board there for allowing us to promote the state of Iowa. Mark and I have been doing it for a long, long time, and we're going to continue to do it. Iowa, I think, has some of the best genetics and deer herds in the country, and it's some of the most phenomenal hunting you'll ever get to. It's really been good to us over the years, and I just want to thank them from the bottom of our heart. And all I can say is that the rut is ahead of us, and I can't wait to climb a tree again. All in all, it turned out really, really well. I wasn't able to harvest that big 150-inch deer that came in too dark. I then missed that big deer just outside the cornfield. That's the one that took the wind out of the sails, but as it turned out, it was just fantastic. We had another buck that read the script, so to speak. Well, Halloween is upon us. You know, that's always a really, really optimum time of the year to be in a tree. I've got one deer in particular that I'm looking for this year. I've got a tremendous amount of wildlife eye footage of this big deer. He's graced the cameras almost daily. Almost every single time I go, I get some sort of video clip of this deer. October's the time of the year when he normally shows up, and I'm hoping that someone has a crack at him this year. Big boy.
Hey, is this the Drury camp?
How are you?
Good, how you doing? Good seeing you.
We were fortunate enough to have an honored guest in Hugh McAloon. He's the group publisher there at Krause Publications, Deer and Deer Hunting Magazine, Turkey and Turkey Hunting Magazine. This was going to be a fantastic trip.
We're up here in the spot that Terry calls a skinny tree. We're going to have to sit real quiet tonight because it's a skinny tree. We got Beans and Maxim out here in front of us with a big draw. I think we're going to see a lot of deer tonight. Hopefully we get one in range.
Hugh was out in one of our favorite spots, a beautiful food plot where we knew he was going to see some activity.
Oh, bad boy. I wish we had some rattling horns with us now. I don't know if he could hear that call or not. I can't see him because he's in behind that tree. It might be a little bit far for a gun call. Now here's more deer. He's probably going to run this doe that's coming out. knew they would move tonight. We've seen 2 shooters and 3 other smaller bucks. I can't even count how many does he's chased around out there.
This field has always been magical. If you get the right wind, you're going to see some bucks. But guess which buck popped onto the field? The big 10 point that I've got all the wildlife eye footage of. This deer, out of all the deer on my particular farm, I probably had more wildlife eye footage of him than any other animal.
It's a huge, huge, huge buck out there. It's the one Terry sent us in here after. That's the one. I thought he would drop a little bit. I put that 35-yard pin right on the center of him. He was out there at about 37. I got a feeling I just buried the biggest buck of my life. Oh, baby, I hope that he went down in there. That's just a magnificent animal of mine.
A bunch of does piled in on the other end, a couple little bucks and stuff. Then a doe came in.
Did you get her?
Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Cool.
So then the biggest deer on your farm comes down the field in front of me, and I'm thinking, I don't know. So I put that 35-yard pin just a little high of center. He just standing there, plain as day, boom, boom, crushed him.
Are you serious?
3 big
It's
bucks
either
on your
Forks,
farm. We saw him.
Muffin,
We saw him.
or the Big Ten.
We shot him.
There was a lot of hugging, some high-fiving going on. Pretty good time had by all.
You can go the entire year, all summer long, and not see a shooter buck over in that area. And once those, because there's so many does that live over there, once the estrus is in the air and they start popping, all those big boys know the first ones to pop are right there. It's amazing.
Here's that little oak tree ran in right. He was just left. Here's the scrape he was working. There's the trail.
Blood right there.
There's how far the robo ring rolled back. I don't think that has anything to do with this for a while. That ever clean. That's extremely clean for the amount of blood that came out. There you go.
Right there, boys. Right behind the tree. Right there. Right there. Oh my God.
Wow. How about it, big fella? Nice deer.
I gotta tell you, I have got more wildlife eye footage of this deer than any other deer on the entire farm. He's been
the most visible deer we've had on the Wildlife Eye all year. I've got hours. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He's just a tremendous deer. Dadgum, what a buck. Big body deer too. Let's each grab a horn. Pumped, ain't you, big boy? You pumped?
I'm pumped.
I can't congratulate Hugh enough. It turned out to be the trip of all trips for him. I was happy for him.
He's heavy.
All the Drury contracting guys were happy. We had a big, big time.
Isn't that an awesome big body dog, too?
Oh my God.
You ain't getting rid of me. Thank you.
Hugh, don't you think Terry should have his contracting company in camp more often for good luck?
Well, we went in and got this big boy last night. We couldn't pass up this opportunity to take advantage of this great light, run a little video on him. Guys, it was the most incredible night I've ever spent in a deer stand in my life. We were covered up in deer. I was shaking, got really lucky, but I'm pumped. Best deer I've ever killed with a bow. Doesn't get any better. Thank you to everybody involved. To Terry for letting me hunt his farm, Josh, unbelievable camera work, and for the Halloween luck.
Well, we couldn't have been any more thrilled for Hugh McAloon to have that big deer on the ground. But as luck would have it, all of a sudden, here we see Coon Dog and John Williams pull up with an absolute monster. Could it get any better? I don't think so. Let the festivities begin.
Congratulations.
Boy, he does have some brow tines. Great buck. Awesome. The deer are dying.
Talk to me. Prediction.
I predict that it's November the 1st today and that it's cold. And I think we're going to see a lot of big deer.
We love September, we love October, but we cannot wait to turn the calendar page into that favorite month of November. And for the record, it's also All Saints Day.
I did know that it was All Saints Day. And I will be talking to them today in the stand. See if they can help.
Everybody's in camp, spirits are upbeat. We can't wait to get in the truck and get out to a stand.
November has arrived, and it couldn't have come in better shape.
Well, we're in a tree on this really cold November 1st morning, and really the conditions are from heaven. I mean, it's high pressure yet. There's a light band of clouds. Allows you to see just perfectly if you can see one coming. We're in here in these hardwoods, man. You gotta love it. November 1st, hardwoods. One of my favorite trees. Just kind of enjoying the morning. Hopefully we'll see something good. We hope. Still nice deer coming. Gotta love November, man. Get those big racks walking through the woods looking for does. Awesome, awesome deer. I think he's a 3.5-year-old buck, but just tremendous genetics, long times. And he's out doing what we're wanting him to do, out looking, cruising, moving during daylight. It's so hard to get these bucks on their feet during daylight. You get a few windows each year, and we're in one of them right now, and it's wide open.
Well, we're in Kansas City actually. We just went through KC, heading to the extreme western part of Kansas, almost to Colorado. The area that we're going to is predominantly switchgrass and taller grasses. It's a little bit different. I'm going to be totally out of my element.
Well, this was really a reconnaissance mission. We knew we were going to be out there a little bit later in the season. I wanted to get a tree stand hung, and I wanted to get a ground blind set up. So we were just more doing a little bit of scouting than anything.
Now that's efficient. they're harnessing wind and converting it over to electricity, which I think is awesome. You know, it's kind of a unique look when you see all of this. It's pretty breathtaking. It's almost artwork. It looks very artistic.
Had to get out, had to look around, had to do a little bit of reading there. I was really intrigued about it. I think global warming is an issue, and that's probably the most important way to start to curtail it.
Man, you're talking about some long shooting out here. I mean, 400 or 500 yards is nothing, is it?
Oh, we'll find. We'll get closer.
Closer than that. I'd like to go to the wellhead and put a ground blind up. Well, here's the plan. It's a solar-powered well, and they've got a water tank here, so, you know, out here in Kansas, you know, water's a big, big item, big issue. So we're gonna go ahead and set a ground blind up here by this wellhead. We've brushed it into where it fits right into this little decor. I'm gonna call it the pheasant house, if you want.
You know, our task was accomplished. We did a little bit of scouting. We got tree stand set up. We got the ground blind set up. Had an encounter with a nice 2-year-old. You know, and we were somewhat optimistic about that. We didn't have real high hopes. We knew we were gonna be out there a little bit later in the season, but it was time to head back home.
I'd heard of Hadley Creek Outfitters before, and I knew what kind of deer they'd harvested there. Mark had called and asked if me and Tim would be a team that would like to go out there and hunt here. And of course, we jumped at the chance.
I'd filmed Ben in Illinois, but I never had the chance to hunt in Illinois myself. And we weren't just going to any place in Illinois, we were going to Pike County, Illinois.
I'd heard of Hadley Creek Outfitters before, and I knew what kind of deer they'd harvested there. And I knew the area fairly well, so I was definitely excited to hunt this area.
We got there a little late in the afternoon. We weren't able to get in a tree, so we jumped in a bad boy buggy with Stacy and Jared and rode around and checked out the lay of the land.
This is Jared, he's one of their top guides. And he's telling me he's gonna road me, and I think he's right.
One client there had actually harvested a buck that morning. They were going to pick it up. It was a beautiful 10-pointer. It was a nice buck. You know, me and Ben were like two kids on Christmas morning waiting to get in a tree.
It's November 3rd. We're in Illinois. We're hunting a secluded bean field that they've just mowed down. The deer have. We got a lot of timbered ridges and draws all around this field. We're on just a little slice of their little pie here this morning. They got 20,000 acres under management. They said they've been seeing some good ones in here. So me and Tim are in here. We both got our bows. We're gonna sit all day long.
Right out of the gate in the morning, we had deer all over us in this picked bean field. We've seen deer in this place all day long.
We've seen more deer in that day's time than I probably see in a whole year hunting in Ohio.
He thinks he's tough. Matt just come out with a new doe bleed. So we're putting this thing to the test this year. Trying it out before it hits the market, so we're gonna see how it acts here. The top of the field, this little young, beautiful 10-point come into the lead. We're hoping that big 8 comes out of the timber over here. Trying to take a peek, I don't know. We'll see.
Moon was in that stage where afternoon time you was gonna see movement, so we decided to stick it out all day. You know, and we figured it might pay off.
If that deer lives to see more, he's gonna be a freak. He's already a little freak. He's a little 10-point, but 7 inches wide. Had a beautiful 8 come out over here. Come out in the corner. He's gonna check these couple of does. Well, we tried to do a little bit of calling to that deer. He used to act like he was a real timid deer. Didn't want nothing to do with no grunting or nothing. So there's a big one around here for sure if he's doing that.
Bag is back. You can eat that.
Bag. Camera.
Might need that. All the time I put you guys on a 160, you don't shoot because you forgot the camera. I want to kill you. I've got this camera. Hey, there's a bag in here. Cameraman forgot the camera.
I'm too excited, man. Well, the next day was November 4th. We woke up to kind of a cloudy, breezy day. It had rain in the forecast. We got into this spot that had a super deep ravine and a cornfield up above the ravine. It was just an awesome spot.
This is an incredible place. I've never seen this amount of deer in my life. I don't know what's in store for us today in this timber, but, you know, I guess we'll find out. If it's anything like yesterday, it'll be good. Buck right there just proves it, that they're here. This is only our second morning. What an incredible place. I mean, there is deer. The deer here are like squirrels in Ohio. They're everywhere. Oh, it's too fast. It's a nice buck, man.
Made the smack sound, buddy.
Perfect, man.
He is way bigger than I thought. Oh my God. Shot. Dude, that's what I'm talking about. Oh man.
You didn't know what happened to him, did you?
No, not even a clue.
Man, look at that.
How are we gonna get him out of here?
Well, here's the typical Hadley Creek whitetail that they manage for here in Pike County, Illinois. Just an incredible buck. I mean, a super mainframe 8-point, but just a super 4.5-year-old buck. I mean, what an incredible deer. They try really hard out here to manage their deer herd. I've never been to a place where they manage the deer as strictly as they do at this place, and all their guides and everybody here takes this place to heart. And if any of you out there are, you know, trying to save money for that once in a lifetime whitetail hunt, I mean, I'm a working class guy, I know all about it. This is the place to save the money and come for at least once in your life. You'll totally enjoy it. We practice a lot at long distances, and when you're filming, man, you just got to be able to get it done. And me and Tim are real intent on trying to capitalize on any opportunity that we get, because they just don't come by every day.
We're still on cloud 9 after Ben killing his big buck this morning. Well, it just so happened the wind was right to hunt over this cut cornfield out of this ground blind that they had brushed in. And it was the first time I had ever deer hunted out of a ground blind. You know, I've hunted out of them for turkeys and stuff, but never for deer.
Used to, sitting in a tree stand with the wind in our face, but today we're sitting in a blind that they've kind of brushed in here. They come in here to partially pick cornfields, what we're kind of hunting. The deer, piling up out of the bottom, coming, just filtering into this cornfield like crazy, so. There's something running toes around like crazy out here. These little bucks have been knocked in here for a few minutes. Something big's gonna show up, got to. Giant right here. Just come into the field.
baby.
Got a smoker, buddy.
That dude is a stud. Oh, Hadley Creek has got it going on. We've been sitting in this blind, me and Ben. We're so uncomfortable in this thing. This is out of our element. But I might turn into a blind hunter after that, buddy.
Woodchuck coming out of this hole. It's the biggest deer Tim's life right here. Look at that. And he's a stud.
You know, it was my best buck to date so far. You know, beautiful 145-inch 10-pointer. Couldn't be happier. He kind of caught us off guard in that blind. We couldn't really see too much to our left, but he come out there and he's standing there, and I'm trying to let Ben get a little bit of pre-roll of him, because I mean it happened so fast, and there were some does out there. At any second, he could have been gone and chasing them does and out of our lives forever. But put it right where I wanted to, and as you can see, he didn't make it 5 yards out of the pit cornfield here. But my best buck for the bow. Killed 2 150 class deer. Ben killed a beautiful buck this morning. It doesn't get any better. If you're looking for a place to go in Illinois, the big buck capital of the world, Pike County, Hadley Creek.
We just had a great day. I mean, it was just one of those days that, you know, 2 Pope and young bucks in one day, 150 and a 145. I mean, it was just awesome.
Just kind of a dream come true for me to go out there. My first trip to Illinois, and hopefully it won't be my last.
I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting at my desk and I get an email from Dave Kramer, one of the Drury team members in Iowa, inviting us to come out and hunt their farms in eastern Iowa.
Dave, please tell me this email's real.
Iowa, what can you say? It really strikes a chord in any bow hunter's heart.
Well, with Rick and Greg coming out this fall, Bill and I have really gone to a lot of work and prepped a lot of extra stands. We were not going to be hunting for 2 this year. We were going to be hunting for 4.
We're pretty excited about this happening this year. It's an opportunity to meet some other guys from Drury's, do something a little different some of the other team members haven't done before.
You know, my family, every time I go on a trip, they're always helping out. A couple nights before we left, we were making jack-o'-lanterns and jerky for the trip. Rick and I both agree that we should not travel before Halloween.
We decided to leave early November for Iowa, and hopefully we were going to hit it right for the rut.
That's what I'm talking about.
Once we were all packed, it was westerly bound, and we were heading to Iowa. That can't get any better.
Well, we figured driving through the night, you know, it wouldn't be very exciting. We'd roll in there to Iowa early in the morning, get a little rest, and get out for an evening hunt.
We're gonna grab a hotel room, a little bit of sleep, head out tomorrow afternoon. I cannot wait to get in a tree. If we could just get around all these crazy people on the road. Holy cow. Watch this dude. Throwing about 100.
That girl's falling asleep. She's not drunk. She's falling asleep. She's got her head back.
I think she's drunk.
I don't know, man. Her head's back like this in there.
She's hammered or stoned or something.
Oh, man. Come on. Cops, where are you? You gotta save this girl.
This car, I mean, it was across one lane, into the other. We got on the phone and called 911.
Now we just passed 88. Heading to 87, yeah. They crashed off the road down in and then came back out and went back on the highway. Okay, got it right now. Sure. Go straight down and we'll be there in just a couple minutes. Bye. Well, that was the officers. They want us to stop and make a quick statement on what we saw. Throws off our timing a little bit here and some sleep. At least it was for the good, hopefully. Probably saved a few lives anyway, so we're gonna go down here and talk to the police officers, let them know what we saw, take a little break, and get back on the road.
That put us off schedule about 45 minutes, but we were right back on the road on the way to Iowa.
That's our driving all night fans. Awesome to see you.
You aren't supposed to film us in leotards.
I'm not supposed to film you. What's up, guys? What's happening, man? What's going on, man?
I'll flip it. I'm a referee. I flip these for a living.
Heads, I go with Dave. Tails, I go with you.
Okay.
Heads.
Okay.
All right.
Cameraman.
Dave and I were talking. You prefer you didn't shoot any 2.5s, 1.5s. We don't want you shooting anything bigger than 150 either.
Yeah.
Say that first.
Well, I tell you the truth, that's what I've been telling him all the way out here. Can I hold it together? Because I'm not around these deer very often. You know what I mean?
This is, we've got a name for this trip, so hopefully it holds up.
Yeah, we're calling it Bill and Dave's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah!
That's what we call our hunt videos. Like, I just see what I say. Bill and Dave's Excellent Adventure.
Yeah,
that's what I always say.
And it's on, man. It's on. Regardless of what we do, it's gonna be. So it'll be fun, man.
Well, it just so happened that I got my buck down early this year. It made it a lot easier to have me as full-time cameraman.
That first evening, we had south winds and pretty warm temperatures, so Dave had an idea about heading to a CRP field crossing where these deer poured in the evening.
Not off to a very good start here. I always pull my steps out the bottom 5 so somebody won't hawk my stands, and then I leave them in my box at the truck, so I run back. Or just about there.
Dave had a pretty unique way of keeping his decoy clean. He scrubbed it all up and covered it with baking soda. You know, I had a couple questions about the white decoy, but hey, I figured he knew what he was doing.
Can't believe it. I'm in a tree in eastern Iowa with this south wind. We've got the decoy out. We're just gonna sit here. We already seen a couple deer that were already out in this field, so hopefully we'll get a big shooter, come up to the decoy and get it done. I can't wait.
This deer took one look at that decoy and did not like what he saw. I don't have to tell you where that decoy went after that hunt.
Well, we're going back to Old Reliable and Old Faithful tonight. First time we're gonna go out back in where I shot my deer last year in Kansas.
First day in Kansas, and we haven't even hunted in Kansas for 5 hours.
What a buck. They should be pretty good. I mean, I don't even know what it looks like back there for sign. We're gonna pull our old tricks again. We're gonna go in there and hang them and hunt them. So we ain't been in there since last year. Don't even know where the sign's at or nothing. We're just gonna hop in the stand or try to find a tree to sit in. I don't think we're gonna sit in the same tree as we did last year, even though it did work, but we're gonna try a different tree. But it'll be fun to get in there. I'm kind of psyched up.
This is one of the toughest things ever to do. Last year we come in here, we hung down there, but it's a different ball game now because they pastured this piece right here out. So now all the deer are gonna be over in this piece here. Or a majority of them are gonna be. I gotta think where I wanna go sit.
You know, I can see he was a little frustrated. There was 2 or 3 times there where he stopped and he pondered for a minute or two, and finally he decided on that tree, and now he could have picked a better tree. You know, I picked out the tree and we got climbed up in there, got everything ready, got buckled in.
What's this look like here? I don't wanna have big clumps on my face.
Looks like you got a lot of big clumps in your face.
It does.
Oh, you're looking at the camera lens.
I can't see in the camera lens.
You know, there's just something about some spots that they just make your hair stand up in the back of your neck, and this was one of those spots.
Well, we're back almost in the same place as we were last year in Kansas. Actually, we're about 50 yards away. I can see the tree. We moved the tree stands this year just to get a little bit more shooting because we're covering 3 angles out of this tree stand. But right now, as we speak, the wind's blowing right up the draw where them 2 bucks come from last year. So that's working out pretty good. There's some good rubs in here, good sign. It should be a fun night. I'm not probably gonna ride out till tomorrow morning unless I see one, but we're just gonna sit back here and see it happens. But this is a heck of a good spot, so it always gives me the shivers coming in here.
Well, we sat there, and first deer out was the fawn, and then another doe, and then a little buck come out, and you know, he was stomping at these does, and I thought he was actually stomping at us, but I didn't know how he could because the wind was blowing in our favor.
That was kind of fun. I've never actually sat and watched a buck stomp his foot at a doe. She was sitting right underneath the trees sniffing the bags, probably smelling my dirty hands. And he was sitting right here. He grunted a couple times. And he was stomping at her to say, you know, come on, let's move it. Because we thought he was actually winning us off the field, but he's actually stomping at that doe. Kind of neat how he needs about a 4-year-old to do that.
Well, I said, well, we're just gonna wait till about the last half hour before dark and then we're gonna hit the horns.
I mean, he's 3/4 of the way through a rattling sequence, and I look up and I just see a big white rat coming running.
That's a big 8-pointer. Oh yes, I gotta sit down. Oh jeez. We need that one bad. That was so sweet.
I called it. I told you, you rattled.
I wasn't rattling 30 seconds and Jason spotted him coming. For anybody that watches this hunt, now you know why me and Jason come to Kansas. We had a tough time in Iowa, had a good time in Minnesota, but when we get to come to Kansas, walked in, hung the set again and hunted it. Hung it, hunted it, killed one. And he's laying dead 30 yards from the tree. I'll tell you what, for anybody that watches me and Jason bow hunt, I can't believe nobody's ever asked us why we don't ever use a bow rope. We always stick our bows on our arms. I don't know, it just seems a lot easier.
Well, we did it again. Down here in Kansas, tell you what. We hopped up in this tree, got permission to go in here again. I found an old oak tree that splits off 3 trails, and we got up in there, waited till about half hour before dark. Said, well, she's just about time to hit the horns. You know, we seen a little buck and 2 fawns, and they walked underneath the tree, but I figured, you know, I'll wait till about half hour before dark and we'll hit the old horns, and that's exactly what we did, hit the horns, and as soon as I hit him, he come running right in. I mean, it all happened so fast. He made a scrape and he walked almost right underneath the tree, 14 yards from my shot. I put it on him and just smoked him. He only ran about 30 yards from the tree, but I'll tell you what, I love Kansas. This stuff here just keeps me coming back every year. It doesn't get no better than this. You know, I got one in Iowa, Minnesota, now I got my buck in Kansas. And now I'm all tagged out and ready to go back to Minnesota. What a hunt.
That was so sweet.
It's 46 degrees, which I wish was the high. Unfortunately, it's the low. We're heading into the 60s again today. Today's the 6th. The forecast the next 4 days are all in the high 60s, low 70s. Just about take the run away from you.
It's misty, it's rainy. I'm excited to get in a stand.
I really like days like this. We're lucky to have a cloudy, misty day. There's a little front passing through. It's only 40 degrees, but I'm cold because there's a lot of moisture in the air. The south wind's freezing me out a little bit.
All right, we're sitting in the stand, and right after we do the pre-hunt interview, boom, up on the hill, we see our first buck. He's a 3-year-old that tells me they're on their feet. This weather is awesome. Hopefully someone will kill one today. You know, it was about 7:30, and I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden I hear noise. I'm pretty sure it's a grunt. Look up, I see legs coming through the trees. But it's not exactly the deer I was hoping for. Man, this 2-year-old runs all over the place, and he's just standing there under the tree kind of huffing. All of a sudden I hear another grunt, and I'm like, that wasn't him. Showed up here this morning on November the 6th, just read the script. Came in, he's getting ready to make that big rub or work on it. I'd just been sitting here looking around, and I was looking at it, I looked over there, I was like, oh my gosh, there's a big rub there. I didn't realize 10 minutes later I'd shoot a deer standing there at the rub. Whew, he is a giant. Baby, 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 November the 6th, you've got to love it. We are the luckiest guys in the world. That was awesome. He's laying right there. Happiness is climbing down early. It did the trick again. I really, really like this broadhead, and we have been getting unbelievable penetration, unbelievable holes, and unbelievable blood trails. Look at that big old rub. There's my buck. He officially ran about 40 yards. It stands right there. That is beautiful. Look at him, the vines held him up. What a giant. You know, you just don't know what to say other than I'm lucky, I'm thankful, I'm happy. Here it is, November the 6th. This rut has been a little bit up and down, and this morning it's up. It's as high as it gets because we were in the right place at the right time. And look what come walking in. It's a buck that this summer I got wildlife eye of probably a mile from here. And as soon as I looked at the wildlife eye, I was like, oh my gosh, what a giant. Last year we had wildlife eye of this guy and never saw him. He was a big 5x5 last year. Just a big 10 point that was probably a 160-inch type frame deer. This year, look what else he sprouted out. Boy, you put that age on him and look what they can pop into. He added 4 extra points this year. He's a 14-point buck. That's really more of a non-typical looking deer this year. He's just awesome. You know, and I've talked to guys all across the country, all the Drury Outdoors team, and this rut's been a little bit up and down. You talk to one team, they're having the best rut ever. You talk to the next team, it's slow. It's just a matter of how lucky you are to have the does come through and the bucks behind them. I decided this morning to go to more of a transitional zone. It's really where 2 draws come together and meet a mile-long draw. It's a big Y, you know, and they filter down those arms and they're coming in all different directions. Plus it's brushy to where we could call if we had to. All we had to do was sit there, enjoy the show, and then I had to make the shot, and luckily the new Hoyt Vectrix did its job. What a beautiful deer. What a beautiful buck. You gotta love this feeling. You've just got to love it. I was so excited to see him coming. First the 2-year-old came in, nudging does, and it wasn't long I could hear that telltale grunt. Down the draw I saw his feet, then I saw his horns, and I said, oh my gosh, look what is coming our way. The deer gods have smiled upon us. We call it Whitetail Madness for a reason. They will drive you mad, and this one drove us mad this morning. What a big guy right there. Look at that hole. You gotta love the Rage broadheads. And you gotta love that. Okay, beautiful buck in, made a good shot, falls on film. Everything is going as good as it possibly can. And all of a sudden, my phone starts vibrating. Look up, it's Jared. Lightning strikes twice. Jared just called. He's got that big buck that was under him last night on the ground. He killed him. Lightning strikes twice. Congratulations, big boy. Now there's the news I wanted to hear. Look at that, look at that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. 2 happy lurk boys right there. Horns everywhere. He'll go 70s, won't he? Yeah. How big's yours?
Nice
work. He's bigger, isn't he, than we thought? He's one of those big ones. Is he bigger than this one?
You see.
I hope he is.
Nice
going. Man. Nice work, Lurks. Yeah. Unbelievable finish to this overall hunt. I was lucky enough to kill one of the largest deer of my life. He grossed 171 1/8. Lo and behold, Jared killed one bigger. That was 178. 2 gross spoons. Official. 171. And yours was what?
178.
Sweet.
Nice.
2 gross boons the same morning. I'd say we had a pretty good day on November the 6th. What a story. We call it Whitetail Madness because it absolutely drives us mad.
As so oftentimes we hit the Midwest and the weather was absolutely horrible. 74 degrees, record high. Watching the Weather Channel, just like all the other hunters, we saw that Friday was gonna be the day and we took advantage of it.
The weatherman calls for rain after lunch. We knew the evening shot. We tried to get out and get something set up that morning.
We're in a little bend in the creek down here below some food plots. The front is here. We're excited. We're hoping it trips the trigger, man. We're in. We're ready to go. Hopefully it's on today. We have a pretty good buck. He's a shooter. We just watched him go up in this draw in between this big bluff and a brush pile. He went right in the middle of it, and I think he laid down. I think what we're gonna try to do is we're gonna give him 15 minutes to settle in. We're gonna go around him and pop up on that rock, and we just might stick him. The wind's blowing pretty hard. We shouldn't have any noise issues, as long as that wind stays steady.
Go. Man. Man. Dude, I hit the tree right here. That was 5 yards. Dude, I hit this tree. I went like this and it went up. I didn't look underneath me. I was like, I got him right here. Point blank. That was awesome. That was the footage.
That was 5 yards.
Dude, I hit this tree. I hit this tree right here. I came up, I was at full draw. I was like this and I had him. I hit that one right there. See it? See the tip of that? I hit that one right there. That was awesome. That was awesome. As that deer ran down over the hill, yeah, I missed him and I was upset. But man, to stalk a giant whitetail like that in Iowa, that was awesome.
I pan back, look at Greg, and he's just in total awe. Well, while I was looking at him, I said, dude, that's 5 yards.
You all right?
I think he thought I was insulting him, but it was just an amazement that we got that close. Well, the rest of the day was a washout. It started raining. We went back to Dave's house. He cooked us some breakfast.
That is the double main bean buck right there.
Oh, yeah. Can't kill one, eat somebody else's.
Hey, Dave. Yes, sir.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
These guys go out and they miss. We have 5 days and they miss. And we come back and we have to cook for them. Just doesn't seem right.
You tell him how much I talked
Well, you said he can rap real well. I was hoping maybe he'd display some of that right about now.
Yeah. Come on, kick the hat back.
Yo, here we are. We're out here, fellas. We're kicking at the blue chip down in Monticello. Hit the Midwest out in IA. Got in the tree on the very first day. A south wind set Dave liked the most. We're hunting with his decoy, Casper the Ghost. We put it on the east side, we put it on the west. Climbed up in the tree and we gave it a test. Next thing you know, got a 140 class. Got us both sitting on our
Had some breakfast, played some cards. We had a lot of fun. Being a little dejected about that miss, Greg decided he was going to give me a shot behind the bow. He'd run the camera.
It's the morning of November 11th. Bucks and does out in the field chasing. Bedding area behind us. We expect to see him cut across this point to get into the beds today. Peak of the rut. Best time to be in the tree stand.
The morning of my stalk was the front. So the morning that Bill was gonna hunt was the morning after the front, and we know what that means for whitetails. So many times those big whitetails get just outside of bow range and they hold up, and that's what this one did.
Finally, this deer turns. I think he's committing. He comes up the hill towards us.
That was 150 incher. 150, man. I don't know what, he just got nervous. I don't know what was going on. I didn't want to snort at him.
Well, here I am in his stand. I'm all dejected, thinking, well, I had my opportunity now and it's gone.
What an experience, though. An absolute giant Iowa buck within 40 yards. I'm sitting there thinking to myself, how can this trip get any better?
Man. Nah.
He's down. Oh, I can't believe that happened. It's a little after 9 in the morning, real cold morning. The deer have been coming in late. We had a super encounter earlier this morning, about an hour and a half ago, with a 155 class deer. This deer came in tonight, gave me a 30-yard shot. I just drilled him. He fell down 60 yards away. Right here, buddy.
Bill got a deer on the ground, a beautiful 8-pointer. Finally, the phone call that we'd been waiting for.
He said they're seeing big bucks going everywhere. Maybe we should run out there with them.
Cannot wait to get up there and get my hands on that deer. I haven't had a chance to see him yet. Things have kind of softened up out here. It's a little muddy. We're gonna slip down in there. We're gonna grab that deer. The snow was gone. The ground was muddy. Up over the hill we went. We found his deer. Look at this buck right here. A mature Iowa whitetail. Great day with me today. Iowa monster right there. Excellent, excellent deer. This is what happens when a plan comes together. Perfect funnel area right along the bottom here. We know these bucks come down here, skirt that ridge there, scent checking does. We slipped into this morning, hung our set, spent our time, and this is what happened. Big, mature, probably 4.5-year-old Iowa whitetail, probably in the high 130s, lots of mass, beautiful buck.
What an awesome way to end this week. I mean, we had such a great time. We established a real good friendship with Rick and Greg.
Dave and Bill invited us out. They didn't know us. We spent 8 days together, and now we're lifelong friends.
They're just like everybody else. They're hunters, and usually hunters, they get along, and we did. This has been an awesome experience.
It's sad to see the weekend. We had tons of fun with these guys. It was nothing but a great learning experience for all of us.
I just can't wait to apply for that 2007 Iowa bow tag. This time, we're gonna take the big boy home.
I couldn't sleep last night. I had to come out and practice for a while. And anyway, so I'm done practicing. Pretty much straight north. Looking at the windmill, I like to check that windmill. Pretty much tells the truth where it's coming from. And this is a crossroads for me. I don't know where to go. Do I go interior? And how do I get there? Do I walk past the sanctuary? Or do I go the long way around and take Eric through about a foot of water?
I happened to choose to roost a tree today. Turkeys everywhere. We're in the middle with 2 big screams under the tree. Everything looks really good.
snap. That's all right. Woo, we got him. Oh, he's right there. He didn't go 30 yards. He's just laying right there.
Congratulations, Joe, man. Awesome buck.
He's a big one.
He's a big boy.
I don't know what happened with my hit. I hit a little far back, but man, I must have hit main arteries because that blood just came out like crazy. Got great footage of him in the wildlife eye. I knew he was kind of hanging in this woods. That's where I've been getting the wildlife eye footage of him. I just did a big series of grunts. I was calling to a different buck over here. I look back over at my shoulder and I'm like, oh my God, there he is. He's coming right here. I shot back. I don't know if I hit a twig or what happened. I think he was standing right here, and I must have hit one of these little twigs. I thought I had it wide open. Again, I get really excited. Look at this, is within 10 feet of where we hit, where I shot. It just poured out of him. I didn't know this was here. I came in here in the middle of the summer and double checked this stand. This is a primary scrape. Secondary scrapes are usually on the outside edge. Primary scrape will be something in the inside, the interior. If you can find one, they're awesome. Think there's enough turkey poop there?
I think they were pooping on us this morning.
Oh man, there was turkeys everywhere. There he is right here. Wow, what a hog. He is beautiful, that's right, isn't he? A lot of respect for this animal. I chased this guy. That was kind of what I had my target on, is this guy, and here he is. If I got any more excited, I just plain wouldn't be able to shoot. Well, November 15th today, Eric and I partnered up back here on a little wood lot. It's only about 7-8 acre wood lot, and we went on the interior of the wood lot today. We leave this alone. I only hunt this spot once or twice a year, and some years I don't even hunt it if I get a big buck early. We had a little buck come in, and that little buck was doing the obvious thing. He was doing the inner circle. They stay about 20-30 yards inside the woods, and they do the inner circle. Eric was videoing that little buck, and then all of a sudden I look over my shoulder, and here comes the Big Ten, just marching right in on us. So he was obviously responding to the buck growl. We're using rage heads, and I can't say enough about these rage heads, the damage they do. This buck didn't go 25 yards, and he piled up. Just a neat buck, a lot of storyline on this buck. We had him last year on a muzzleloader hunt with Eric. We passed him up as a 3-year-old. I have this buck in velvet this spring, running around with a bunch of other actually a bunch of nice bucks. I have wildlife eye footage of him right here in the edge of the woods in the pine trees. Real neat wildlife eye. And so we kind of had our eyes set on taking this buck, and everything came together good for us today.
Rod and I have killed several really, really nice bucks in our life. And we've got some really good friends, one of them being Mike Lamandeer. And our goal this year was to have Mike kill a mature buck, because he deserved it. He's been a great friend. Mr. Lamandeer!
Right?
How we doing, man?
Good. I was so excited the night before his first shotgun season in Illinois, driving down to Rod Wilson's farm. I was just so excited to get there, get fired up, and get ready for tomorrow's hunt.
Deer camp had begun. It was time to start having fun, but get serious about the next day's hunt. See, I used to think I had the coolest muzzleloader, but now you do.
All right, so
counterclockwise, a quarter turn.
Quarter turn.
That's the great thing about these guns. There you go.
How about that?
Now you just clean the barrel out, and you soak that, and clean it, and you're done. I was going out with my son Adam that morning, and we all went out, and Adam and Mr. Wilson harvested 2 beautiful bucks, but Mike, he didn't get an opportunity.
I didn't have any luck the first morning of shotgun season, but we had a great day at Rod's farm.
That afternoon, we were all standing around, eating, grilling up some food on the grill, talking about that evening's hunt.
This would be what deer camp's all about right here. Eating, we got the backstraps, we got the deep fryer going.
You ready for this? You're going back in the 5 acre field, buddy.
Good stand.
I know.
Got a good cameraman?
Well, hopefully you'll kill something. I think you'll see some stuff. Perfect wind, so get your butt out there and go hunt.
That afternoon, I was so excited. I just wanted to get ready and get back out there. I knew the bucks were moving. I just couldn't wait to get out there.
I think this is gonna be a good night.
We're headed to a what we call the 5-acre field. It's a box blind back on the end of Rod's farm. It's about 2:30. We've been seeing some buck activity early, so we're gonna go out and see if we can get in that stand before they know we're there. It's gonna be a great night. I'm ready. We did get in our stand earlier than we probably normally would. We've seen a lot of buck activity. We just knew it was a matter of time before that big guy was gonna walk out. Nice buck coming in. I think he's a shooter. Yes! I thought I put a good shot on him, and I must have. We weren't for sure if he was a shooter or not. And the closer he got, I said, he's the biggest deer I've ever seen out in the woods, I think. I think he's laying at the end of the food plot. Yeah! I'm 100 yards away from the biggest deer I've ever killed. He never cleared the field. I know he's down there. Let's go take a look. Yeah, baby, yeah. Look at him. Look at that. There he is, huh? You know how pretty he's gonna be on my wall. I've hunted this place. I guess now it's been about 4 years, been hunting for a long time. Filmed a long time with my buddies, Rod and Keith, and I don't think I've ever seen anything this nice in the woods. And when he came out, man, I was shaking, but I said, you gotta put a good shot on him. You don't understand the feeling until you actually see him drop. And then it's like, you know he's not going any further and he's always yours. He's a dandy.
When we got back into camp, we just couldn't wait to measure the deer and add him up and just sit there and share the moment with Mike. We were all so excited.
Last year was Mark and I's first year for filming for Drury Outdoors, and started off the season with an elk hunt in Colorado. In my heart right now, this is the bull of the woods right here. I was able to take a real nice bull on video, and might have got a false sense of security that this filming stuff was going to be easy for us, and little did we know.
Well, last year came and went, and we really only had one opportunity to shoot a deer that we thought was a shooter, and to say I blew it was, well, that's an understatement.
You're kidding me. I just laced that at 30 yards. I shot right over his back. Oh, Mark. I'm sorry, Jeff. My trials and tribulations continue.
Well, between last year and this year, Jeff and I ended up on different shifts, and to keep the camera rolling every day, we needed to enlist some help.
35 yards in the wide open. I just shot right underneath of him. That was a terrible, terrible shot. He caught us by surprise, come over here to the east. Jeff tapped me on the shoulder and said, there's a big buck coming. That's terrible. That's terrible.
But by the end of the first shotgun season, all we'd accomplished was the same results as last year. Well, here it is Thanksgiving Day with the understanding wife and the generosity of Mark and Jason. We're on the way to their dad's farm. We're going to try to harvest one of the bucks that they've been seeing come in and out of their soybean field. I should have known that this invite didn't come without a hitch. Very last minute, little did I know that I had to hang the set too. We'd no more got the set hung and settled in, and to my amazement, right where they had been seeing these bucks, here come one.
Smash into the creek. I'll tell you what, God willing, Thanksgiving Day, I think we just smacked a 150-inch deer. The shot was farther back than I wanted, but I think it done the job. I'm 8 up. I missed him about 52 yards. I shot under him. I'm babbling like an idiot, but that's a year. Almost 2 years since I've drawn bowstring on a big one.
There he is, right there. Look, there he is. Well, to say I'm excited is an understatement. A lot went into this deer. Last year, Mark and I hunted every day almost to the bitter end, and we wasn't able, for one reason or another, to connect on a nice shooter. I haven't been able to get a shot at a shooter buck in over 2 years now. Got in the stand, hung the set, wasn't there maybe 10 minutes. This buck come in, I shot right underneath him, and he didn't really know what had happened. He run off a little bit, and the deer settled down, and he started feeding back towards us, and he got about 43 yards, and wide open shot. We made this thing happen. And thanks to the good old Rage Broadhead 2-blade, he never went very far. As everyone knows that bow hunts, deer like this, chances like this don't come, every day. It's a great deer, great animal. It's been a long 2 seasons to get this done, and I'm elated.
November the 28th, back to Kansas. We'll see if our reconnaissance mission pays off. We felt pretty good about some of the locations where we had the ground blind set up, had the tree stand set up.
It's a long way out to Kansas, Toto, and we're gonna get on a little plane, 4 big guys with a lot of gear.
There's Maverick right there.
There's Maverick. Look at him. Now that is Maverick if I ever seen one.
Hi, Eddie.
How are you, sir?
Long time no see.
Same here.
Good to see you.
No, that's Maverick. We've been referring to him as Maverick.
Maverick? He looks the part, doesn't he?
Video purposes, he is Maverick.
He looks like a pilot. So have you guys put your gear in already?
Yeah, oh yeah. But we got a little problem.
Had your gear too.
He thought that was it.
I thought that was all of it.
We told him that was all we were taking.
We may have to do a weight reduction. Keith may have to stay here.
Well, let's just start it right away.
Who needs to go the least?
I was just bragging about my good friend Mark.
We can't wait to hunt together. It's the first time myself, Terry, and Keith have ever hunted together. You know we're gonna have some fun.
This is gonna be more of a fun trip than it is a serious trip. We don't get to hunt together near often enough, so we're looking forward to it.
nice to be on the ground.
Great, fantastic.
There's our farm.
You're looking at it, right? Looking at it.
Okay, guys, where really is our farm?
Are those trees on it?
Yep, that's
where the
ours.
stand is.
That's my tree stand.
There you go, Keith.
Well, there is a lot of timber on this thing then.
We're kind of some tree climbers. We're used to being hung 20, 25 foot off the side of a tree. This was going to be a little bit different for us.
Ow. I ain't shooting again. I don't care where it is.
Think of the vitals.
Yeah.
You're gonna destroy.
That's what we like to hear.
We're being hosted by Brett Kendrick. He's there, he's had some wildlife eyes out, and he can't wait to show us what he discovered.
5-inch G1?
I'd say we'd shoot him.
We'd probably
shoot him.
You know, in Kansas, we were going to key on water. We put a wildlife eye on the watering tank, and there was a lot of bucks showing up during the rut.
Well, November the 29th. The end of November in Kansas can be absolutely brutal.
Cold front of all cold fronts, these deer ought to be moving.
Well, it's our first morning here in Kansas. Pretty chilly out here. The wind's blowing like crazy. It's cold. Something totally new for me, I'll tell you. I'm trying to figure out if we're on Mars or if we're in Kansas. This is one cold mama here, I'm telling you. It's brutal out here. Nice buck out there. With the conditions the way it is, I may have to take this one.
I don't know that we've ever hunted in conditions like this. The wind's blowing 40 miles an hour. I mean, we're sitting there freezing our tails off, but they're still coming to that water tank.
Shooting out the other side.
Tell me when. Matt.
Took off running on me. Just about settled in on him, was going to take the shot, and he took off on me. Well, maybe another one will come for us here, who knows?
You know, it's early in the trip. We couldn't wait to see what Josh and Terry had seen.
Mule deer buck and 2 does out here going out in front of us, but he don't look like a shooter. He's either 2.5 or 3.5 young deer. He's not mature. Nice buck.
You know, this is what you live for. I mean, it just doesn't get any better. As a hunter, when you see whitetails, mule deer, blizzard conditions, snow flying, cold temperatures, that's what we like. That's the part that we wait for all year.
Wow, we're seeing a few deer. Just wait for the big one to walk in. We've got a really nice deer making his way this way. Beautiful 8-point buck. I hope he comes in a little closer because I'm going to shoot this deer.
smoking.
Go down, baby. Keep down. Yes. Oh my God, how exciting. Oh man. Oh. I'm so glad I passed that 10-pointer. I had a 10-pointer come in. Couldn't decide if I wanted to kill him or not. He just wasn't quite as big as I was wanting. And now this evening I've just been rewarded. A beautiful deer just walked in. I just shot him. He's down right out here. Oh man, this is definitely worth the wait. This is awesome. Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you, man. Thank you so much, buddy. Good job. God, I got myself good here, but it's worth it. I don't even feel it. I might bleed to death. You may be taking me to the hospital. Oh, he had me in such a dang awkward position here. You know, I was all scrunched up and I knew the scope was right in my face, but you know what? At moments like that, you don't care. You'll take the abuse. Even all the abuse I'll get from all my buddies, it's worth it.
That gun drew blood on both ends that evening. We had a great time. One of the funnest trips I've been on in years. I can't wait to go back with Keith, Terry, and Josh, wherever it is, Illinois, Iowa, Missouri, Kansas. It's all about the fun you have.
There he is, right here. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at that deer. Boy, they are hard to see in this stuff. Oh my gosh, look at him. I tell you, my first trip to Kansas ever, and couldn't be more excited here. Never been here before. Had a beautiful 10-point buck come in the snow yesterday. And I tell you, it was just such a beautiful encounter. I almost shot the deer and just decided not to. It wasn't quite what I was looking for. And am I glad I didn't shoot him, because look what walked in here this evening. I tell you what, be patient and you will be rewarded most of the time. I mean, I don't know how old he is, but he's definitely mature. I mean, he is just enormous. I tell you, all these kids nowadays are out looking for drugs and something to give them a rush or a high and just experience a good feeling. Well, I just got one thing to say. Go out and kill one of these babies if you want a rush. I'm telling you, there's no drug on the planet that can give you the feeling that it feels like right now. This is awesome. What a beautiful evening. It doesn't get any better than this.
Big boy. How about you?
And everybody gets lucky, don't they?
Congratulations,
Thank
man.
you,
That's
sir.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Cool.
What do you do? You know,
No, you know what I do with my nose.
What?
Well, because he goes, I don't want to shoot him, and I go, hey!
Ow!
You're shooting him.
Congratulations to my buddy Keith. We've been friends for a long time, and I consider him to be one of my best friends. It was a nice deer, turned out to be a perfect kill, perfect evening, great trip had by all. We couldn't wait to get back home.
So now it's time to fly back. We're in the air. We're coming back into Farmington, Missouri, where we had flown out from, and here's a coyote running down the runway.
That's a big coyote.
That's awesome. They're out hunting, and so are we.
Look at him running down there.
Ice is everywhere. That storm front waylaid a lot of different people out of power, and here we were out in western Kansas having a good time. We were the lucky one.
You're just looking.
Here's what we came home to. This is awesome. Right here. A little bit of ice. Check it out.
Hey! I wanted to eat one though.
Go ahead, eat one.
Look at that sticking out.
Ooh, that's a good one here.
Here, Mark wants to eat that.
Remember when you were a kid, you always...
Here you go. Yeah, you look for the biggest, pointiest.
Broke off.
I don't mind a lot of oil on it. It was under your truck.
It was a wonderland, really was. It was all full of ice. Just looking forward to get back into the timber.
We've all heard the cliche, a cat has 9 lives. The question is, can a mature whitetail have 9 lives? Here's a story about one that just about did. My first introduction to this particular buck was in the fall of '03. I'm hunting with Todd Smith, editor of Outdoor Life, good friend of mine. And it's getting down to that last little bit of camera light, last little bit of shooting light, and out pops an Iowa giant.
It's a monster. See, on the left-hand side of the fence.
This buck was wide, tall, heavy, high. He had everything. I nicknamed him the Perfect 10 because he was perfect. It was a little too dark. We decided to pass. So that was late in the year in '03. In '04, the wildlife eye comes out. And finally, I got a clip of a giant 10-point jumping the exact same fence where Todd Smith and I had seen him 1 year previous. That clip was literally famous. We used that in the Wildlife Eye commercial the following year. The perfect 10, jumping that big fence. I mean, what a sight. Beautiful big buck. No one even saw that buck that year. I assume when Todd and I saw him, he was 4.5. My guess is he was a 5.5-year-old buck, and we never saw him one time that entire fall. So, going into the fall of '05, this buck starts showing up everywhere. I got footage during the season. I got footage of him destroying a scrape. I mean, this buck is a giant. We can't wait to see if we can get him within bow range and camera range. It was the middle of November. Our good buddies Scott and Steve Rupert were up, and Scott's got the bow in his hand. He's got an Iowa tag in his pocket, and guess who shows up? It's one of those cold, misty, rainy days, and here's the perfect 10 coming through this CRP ditch. What a giant, what a sight. Over the top, puts a scar on his back. The buck lives to see another day.
Oh, it's enough to make you want to cry. No, man, those bucks they have like 9 lives. They're like a cat, they have 9 lives.
Later that year, Jared's hunting with a muzzleloader on a food plot. It's Iowa's first gun season, and guess who pops out?
There's a good deer coming over the hill right there, right out in the beans.
Normally, Jared and I are together. He's there with Rod Owen, and there's a little confusion. The buck looks a little slender. Jared looks at him, and he actually allows the buck to leave the field.
That's not a shooter. That's not a shooter.
Later that night, the buck comes back out. He takes another good look at him, and he passes again. It wasn't until later, when we got together and we viewed the footage, we started putting all the pieces of the puzzle together. It is the perfect 10. It's the giant we had all the Wildlife Eye of, but he had a G2 missing. Confused Jared a little bit. He didn't shoot the buck. That buck got by 2 more times. We hunted and searched, didn't see the buck anymore that particular fall. Then, fall of '06, once again, this guy loved the cameras. He starts showing up everywhere in velvet. I got nighttime footage of him. I got daylight footage of him. He is wide, he's awesome. He is the buck everybody dreams of. That perfect 10, man, he is under our skin. I think he's 7.5 years old. Hopefully this year, he'll make a mistake. It's November the 5th. I have a very good friend in Tom Gallagher in. He's hunting, it's like 11:30, middle of the day, and just the footage is quick, but this giant buck just runs right in front of Tom. You barely get a glimpse of him, but if you slow it down, you can see it's the perfect 10. He's chasing a doe, 20 yards by, no chance to stop him. Once again, he slips by one of our hunters. I'm thinking, man, are we ever gonna get a crack where we can actually take this deer? 2 days later, Scott Schultz, the president of Scent Blocker, good friend, he's in, and guess who shows up yet again?
Jim, there's a buck up there right now. Right there, his plan's day in the sun. Oh, yeah. Yeah, good buck. I'm gonna quick get set up. We're gonna rattle, see if we can get him to come back in.
Buck's up through the woods. Scott calls, he growls, he rattles. Here comes the perfect 10. Once again, this buck slips out of there. No luck. He may have 9 lives. It was then mid-December before we saw the perfect 10 again. Jeff Lindsay's got a Thompson center in his hand.
We'll keep these windows closed until old sad daddy walks out. Then we're gonna let the Thompson center speak his piece on it. So.
It's a cold front. There's a cut cornfield, and you guessed it, the perfect 10 shows up again. All Jeff's got to do is center those crosshairs and make the shot. Misfire. You know, Jeff's a little dejected. He stays there, keeps on hunting, and believe it or not, it was his night and it was a bad day for the perfect 10. He shows back up.
He's coming back. He's top of the hill. Don't let him see us. Don't let him see us. Left her broadside. Bobby, Bobby, Bobby. You got it? Yeah. Mac. Hold on a minute. No. Shoot him. Yeah! About to go pet one, baby. About to go pet one. This has been a season of bad luck, but we just redeemed ourselves, baby.
By my count, that was the 8th time that we had seen that buck and had a chance to kill that buck, and that finally closed the deal on the perfect 10. So much wildlife eye, so many dreams, so many hopes, so many stories, so many different encounters. Like I said, it was the 8th time that we actually had an encounter with that buck that Jeff closed the deal. I guess that goes to show mature bucks do not have 9 lives. The 8th time was a bad day for the perfect 10, but a great day for Jeff.
Well, we found our Iowa giant. He didn't go 50 yards. Shockwaves did the trick. This deer's 7.5 years old. Mark told us to get that blind. Northwest wind's gonna be rocking late season, and that was an understatement. This was our 5th shooter. Awesome night. Good Lord smiled on us. Roller coaster of an evening. Just awesome night, awesome deer. Cameraman's first week filming, just everything was great.
World-class deer, beautiful buck. Had it not been for a broken G1 fork, the buck would have grossed boon. He would have been 171. He ended up at 167. A beautiful deer and a story with one of the most famous bucks in Drury Outdoors history, the Wildlife Eye commercial. So many different encounters. Finally, after 4 long years, Jeff finally closes the deal.
Well, the months have quickly slipped away. We saw September come and go, October, November, December. We're on into January. Late season, things have become extremely slow and very difficult.
Look at that shed. Look. Look at that. I'll be doggone. Wonder who that is. Here we are, we're going bow hunting. Still got a buck tag in my pocket and they're already starting to drop their antlers. That's a bad deal. But we're on a doe mission. Is that part of picket fence? I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's his 8th side.
I'll be doggone. I know this buck. He's got, he was a 3-year-old this year, and we named him Picket Fence. I've got Wildlife Eye footage of him, and I'm hoping he's gonna blow into a giant. Well, he should, if this is any indicator. If he keeps that fork, and if this thing, this broke off, he's got 3 points that are broken, but what a stud. He's gonna be an absolute monster next year as a 4-year-old. Great buck. This could be good luck. This could be an omen. Next year, he could be the buck we kill. Now I wanna look around and see if we find any more sheds. Cool, good deal. Sweet.
You know, shed season is just around the corner. I've got something to look forward to, but I was really tickled to find this particular shed. It's a deer, we nicknamed him Picket Fence. He's an 8x6, and we found the 8-point side. All I can say is I'm glad to see that he made it through the season. I can't wait to see him next year, and I can't wait for the shed hunt. Our annual shed hunt's always a good time. So the year has ended. What a great way to end a perfect season. But you know, one of the biggest thrills for us, I guess, as hunters, is to be able to meet some of the baseball players. You know, we're huge Major League fans, and we look forward every year to having some of those guys in camp.
Bingo. That's him, brother.
Well, this year is no different than any other years. We've got one of the top players in all-time history, Will the Thrill, Major League Baseball player who's as good with a bow and arrow as he was with a bat.
That is a good deer.
Well, here I am. I got here to Greater Kirksville, Missouri, and as I stepped off the airplane, I felt that cool weather, a little breeze blowing, and I'm telling you right now, I was looking forward to this hunt because it's 80 degrees back home, and I was looking forward to being here. Well, you know, whenever you get to camp, especially when you travel by airplane, you know, it's good to get out and shoot your bow. So I got out there, and luckily on the third and fourth arrows, I had a Robin Hood. Uh-oh, that ain't good. That right there is what is called sighted in. This will be signed and sealed and delivered in the Team Drury camp. Well, first afternoon, we had a nice southwest wind. I went to a set called the Catfish Pond.
Let's just ease on, see what happens. You never know, I mean, unless they get bumped real bad, they might come right back.
And before you know it, too long, we had a bunch of does out there, some little smaller bucks, and had a doe come by at about 25 yards. I was able to harvest her, and it was good because I got a chance to take care of one of Team Drury's antlerless problems. It helps out in his management strategy and, you know, use up one of your tags. Well, here we are, first afternoon on my buddy Team Drury's place. And he said that if I got a chance this afternoon, if I could go ahead and harvest an antlerless deer. And this lady right here come walking in about 25 steps. Got her a little bit back, but I was shooting one of those big 2-inch Rage expandable broadheads, and she didn't go 30 yards. I'd like to thank Terry for having me up to his place, and he's got some gorgeous animals, and one of them right here is gonna taste pretty good.
Well, here we are, afternoon number 2. This morning we had some really nice encounters. We almost got a shot at the doe, and then we had a coyote came down the road, and he didn't give us a shot. So, as you can see right now, we got a little front coming through. It's raining, and Terry and Mark have these box stands to where they, you know, can shoot out of them with a bow or with a gun. So hopefully, the doe or a really nice buck will pass out in front of the box stand and give us a good shot. So
tell you what, even with the inclement weather, it was darn comfortable sitting up in that custom-made box that Terry's got. I tell you what, he does it first class right here.
Big brother just stepped out a second ago. Nice 2.5-year-old, maybe 2-year-old aim point. Field is starting to fill up in the rain.
We had a chance to see quite a few deer in this field, even though the weather was pretty bad. We saw quite a few does, some smaller bucks. We saw a nice 8-point, probably a 2-year-old.
That right there is our version of a lazy deer. We're in the rain, and he just goes out there and beds down in the middle of the grain field.
And then a 10-point that might have been pushing 3.
He looks like a 3-year-old. He's posturing that other 8-point.
And, you know, it's one of Terry's little younger deers. We're going to give him another year. And then before you know it, old big boy shows up at the end of the field.
Here comes another deer back here too. This is a pretty good one right here. This is definitely gonna be a 3-year-old. Oh, that's a shooter. Yes, indeed. That is a, oh my God.
When he walked in, it was a no-doubter. I mean, he's at least 13 points. He's 18 inches wide, big, huge body, and he's the kind of deer that make dreams come true.
Double form G2s. That is a good buck. That right there is what we're after. Hopefully he eases on down there.
Well, we had all the does and the smaller bucks sort of file past the stand. And so, you know, I got my heart racing a little bit, thinking that, you know, old big boy, he's going to come following everybody up here. And he made it about halfway up the field. And as
with big deer. Something boogered him, and he turned around and headed out of the field. But it really was a neat encounter to have an animal that big in your presence and have your heart racing.
That's why they get big. We saw something he didn't like. Off he goes.
Well, you know what? All in all, it turned out to be not only a great day, but a great weekend. You know, having a chance to visit with Terry, my old buddy, and, you know, see his place. He's got an awesome place. He's doing a great job on his management strategy. And to get out here and help out with his game management, it really, really makes me happy. I'm looking forward to hopefully, if not coming back, hopefully have Terry and Mark come down to my place.
Well, it was a lot of fun. He got to shoot a few does. He had the encounter with that big deer down in the bottom there. And I can't wait to have him back, you know, maybe next year. It's always fun to have him in camp. We had a great time.
That's him, brother.
Biologic has become a major part of our deer hunting strategy here on the farm. In the last 3-4 years since I've been really utilizing Biologic, I've harvested the 3 or 4 biggest deer of my life. This deer is the 4th deer that we've harvested out of this field this year. Halloween 2006 proved to be my best hunting day ever. I harvested the biggest whitetail that I've ever shot with a bow. We harvested this Halloween buck last night right at dusk, about 30 yards off of a Biologic maximum field. I planted the Clover Plus in April and then sort of kept my fields worked up all summer. Last week of August came back and planted Green Patch Plus and Maximum. We fertilized real well. Got lucky enough we actually had the rain to bring it up, and the crops just look phenomenal. Like I said, I'm 58 years old and I've harvested the 3 largest deer of my life since I turned 55. I can't say enough about Biologic products. Well, I'm up to bat today, I guess. We're gonna go down in another shooting house. I need to go out and check the wind and see what's happening. But if we have a south like we're supposed to have a south, I'm gonna hunt just a little south of where coon dog hunted yesterday.
Beautiful. I love them. That's what it's all about right here.
A little sore today after dragging coon dog's deer around loading it up, but still going. So I gotta find a wind checker and check the wind. Find me a wind checker someplace.
But that first day out, we sat all day long. We were only out of the blind for probably about an hour and a half. The deer movement was 0. Hardly any buck movement at all.
Sort of looking forward to seeing how this thing performs. I shot it at the range the other day, it's pretty accurate. But anyway, off we go again.
Well, we got in there at noon, we got set up, and right off the bat, we had deer coming to the food.
It's just a little after noon. We've got 5 deer in the field already. Yearlings, I believe. Hope they bring something in. It's about 3:30. The field's just filling up. We actually have deer bedded down out here in the Biologic maximum. You know, we got our fingers crossed. You know, if I was a buck, and I'd at least idle through here and sort of see what's going on, but we'll see.
He no more got the words out of his mouth, and here stepped out a nice buck.
That's a double main beam buck. That's that same one. Piece of shitter. That's a double main beam buck. I'm gonna take it. Oh, stop him, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Go, right there. Kill him. Kill him. Yes! That's a double main beam buck. It's a double main beam buck. He's a nice deer. He's down. Smoke's clearing. He's a nice deer. Nice deer. That deer wasn't 40, 45 yards. I think I creamed him. The Thompson Pro Hunter 50 caliber. It should be awesome.
A lot of dead deer right here. Seam.
My hunting farm's my hobby, and there's a lot of work involved, but the work is fun. It's something I like to do and want to do. To actually harvest a deer over the food plots that you've planted is just awesome. This deer come out to join the party that we were having in the biologic maximum this afternoon. In and out of here this afternoon, we probably had 20, 25 deer, and I told Dog along about dark that hopefully a nice mature buck would come in. And this isn't my 160 bow deer that I shot, but I'm tickled to death with him, and I can't believe what the Thompson Pro Hunter with that 50 caliber did to him. About 40 yards, and I mean, it was like he was hit with a freight train. Beautiful deer. I'm very happy with him. I've got another year to look forward to, getting ready for deer season next year, 2007. I do a lot of work on the farm, planting biologic, and I love planting the food plots and taking care of the deer all year long. It's my life. I love hunting, especially deer hunting and turkey hunting. But when you harvest a nice animal like this, it just all makes it worthwhile.